We just wrapped up with the Democrats fleeing the state. So, in my eyes, they did the complete opposite of leading their constituents. But from what I know this morning, they actually had a quorum. So that's one of the talking points that I'll definitely use on the campaign trail is District 33, I promise not to flee. The number one legacy that I want to leave is reforming our education system. I believe that sometimes you really can't teach an old dog new tricks. So I really want to hone in on the high schoolers, especially in my area, introducing them into real estate and getting them committed to at least one property before they sign up for a 4-year degree. If I can put real estate in front of these kids and have them construct a duplex and them live on one side and rent out the other, creating passive income, and then channeling that and sending that over to infinite banking, creating their own source of passive income and changing the state of our welfare system, I, that would do it for me. When I was pregnant, being a bearing mother, you qualify for certain things. You get to jump in line in certain wait lists. She begged me to get on the waiting list for Section 8, and I knew somewhat of how the system operates and how it's structured. It's a very crippling system, and I'm a control freak. So the idea of the government or literally anyone telling me, oh, I can't make this amount or this will happen, it just didn't sit well with me. So instead of being yet another Section 8 tenant, I actually figured out how to become a Section 8 landlord. And I went through that process by myself, educating myself on HAP contracts and how to get through the inspection with the state. And that was all after the legacy of redlining. Like I could have played the victim and talked about how redlining stopped my mother or her mother from purchasing a property. But the fact that I was not only able to acquire property without going to a bank, which is a huge misconception in this country, acquire that property and then turn it into an asset without anyone holding my hand and then expand on that, creating passive income, not just for myself, but for my family. After all of the victimization, I'm very proud of that. And it's something that I definitely want to champion or that I'm going to champion within my administration because housing is one of our biggest expenses. Education. So I mentioned before that I am a real estate investor and I was able to jump into real estate by using my Pell Grants from my senior year in
Oh,
college.
wow.
What most people don't know is we have untraditional routes into real estate, like subject to tax lien, foreclosures, owner financing is one of my favorites. But it's just education because we have the resources, we just don't know about them. For instance, every major county in the state of Texas that I know of, they hold an auction every first Tuesday of the month. And when I go out to the courthouses and I'm mingling in these areas, it's very little Americans there. I believe I am the only Black person out there. Instead of trying to put a cap on rent, which will never happen, instead of trying to put a cap on rent, what I would like to see is all of that information and all of these resources provided to the American people. Because when I go to these auctions for real estate, very little Americans there. And if we know that we can't make more land, why not hone in on this subject, especially in the state of Texas where you don't even need a license to build. Um, and it embraced me to actually be educated instead of going to the polls, voting based on identity politics or just emotionally voting. I say a million because although the number is 700,000, not everybody completes the census. So initially, I'll be knocking on everyone's door, whether you're registered to vote or not, registered as a Democrat or Republican. I'll be knocking on everyone's door. What I would like to see is for homesteaders to be completely tax free. I'm not here to look out for the mom and pop landlords. I'm not here to look out for companies like BlackRock that own investment property in residential neighborhoods. I'm not here to look out for them. My main concern is the people who homestead their properties.
33rd district.
So what got me involved initially was me identifying a passive politician. And I want to say what makes my run or what makes me different is that I'm not a career politician. I plan to get in, solve some problems, and get out. So I'm looking through congress.gov to not really compare, but to look at what the incumbent has done in comparison to his colleagues. And one of the things that stands out to me is the incumbent, the 12-year incumbent now, Mark Vesey, along with his neighboring colleague, Jasmine Crockett. They're not really getting any major work done. We pay cities and counties like Dallas and Tarrant County thousands of dollars a year just for our politicians to completely waste that money. For instance, I just found out, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, that the city of Dallas has an allowance every month for $1,000 for a car note. And when I go into these districts and I knock on doors, they say, "Oh, you're the first candidate or you're the first politician to actually knock on my door." So if you are unable or unwilling to at least knock on the doors in your district, why do you need a car? And it's not that major because it's only $1,000 a month, but that's for each member. So that's 14,000 a month for all of the members, roughly 200,000 a year, and it's insane. It's insane. So my first 100 days, number one thing on my list is the income taxes. Now we got a big win with the big beautiful bill, with the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and that's great. But our president needs more help from Congress. I think certain parts of the Civil Rights Act kind of disenfranchised the Black community, and it's used to create this victimhood with Black America. So everybody in America can grasp equality. They don't have to wait on me. Trying to get in front of this property that's on sale, but again, we don't know about it. And even the ones who do know about it, especially in the Black community, we have decided to gatekeep. So just putting that information out in front of the people so they could take advantage of it. Some people don't have a car. Some people are literally scared of the Republican Party. They literally think that it's a Klan meeting. But just getting that education out to them and then meeting them exactly where they are. But I do want to say, me and the Republicans don't agree on everything. But in comparison to the other side, I'll stick with the party that my ancestors created.